While the Live Midtown program is focusing on getting people who work in Midtown to live in Midtown, Detroit LISC is focusing on implementing their quality of life plans for other Detroit neighborhoods. We caught up with Tahirih Ziegler of the Detroit LISC.
Detroit Local Initiative Support Corporation is an intermediary. We're a community development financial institution. We are a franchise of a national organization that provides resources through equity, loan capital, and grant funding, and then takes that funding and actually deploys it into local communities. So in this case, into the city of Detroit. And we have a number of neighborhoods that we work in. A lot of our work, the mission is to transform distressed neighborhoods into sustainable ones that are actually places that any of us would like to live, places of choice, to live, play, recreate, and work.
Detroit LISC works closely with the City of Detroit and with multiple organizations to help acquire public and private dollars to invest into different projects.
If the City of Detroit has neighborhood stabilization funds or community development block grant funds, then we look for opportunities to partner for redevelopment for projects. How it works and how it ties with a lot of the work that's going on with neighborhoods, and we're talking about the loss of population, but also abandonment of a lot of vacant properties. We support organizations like the Detroit Land Bank Authority that really is a tool, a financing tool, but also a quasi-governmental entity that really is able to acquire and properties and then deploy them and get them back into redevelopment, so back into reuse on the tax rolls of the city. So that's one organization that we support. Other organizations we support are community development corporations. Those are nonprofit developers. They do a lot of the work, the community engagement of neighbors, and they actually are the ones that are on the ground looking at properties and figuring out whether they should demolish a house, whether they should redevelop it, whether they should make it into a community garden, or whether they should sell it to the neighbor next to them. There's a lot of work that goes into looking at redevelopment of abandoned properties. You talked about, and the loss of population is something that there's been disinvestment in the city of Detroit over time. And so we know that every year that there are a number of, maybe tens of thousands of people that are leaving the city of Detroit. Our work with the city is to figure out how to attract a lot of those residents back to the city.
This means developing communities that people want to be a part of, block by block, one neighborhood at a time.
The quality of life plans that Detroit LISC is supporting over the next 9 to 18 months really are centered and focusing on 5 neighborhoods. The neighborhoods are Woodward Grand and the Central Woodward neighborhood. They're Grandmont Rosedale neighborhood in Northwest. In Northeast, they are Osborne and Connor Creek. And then in Southwest, we have 2 neighborhoods, Springwells Village, and then Hubbard Farms, Hubbard Richard, and Corktown is one neighborhood. What we looked at a number of neighborhoods, 12 neighborhoods throughout the city, and trying to figure out if we had a certain number of resources, how we could leverage impact in certain neighborhoods. So what we did is we targeted these 5 neighborhoods, looked at 80 to 100 blocks of targeting resources, and really trying to figure out how to put both public and private dollars to improve those neighborhoods. What we looked at also were the assets of the neighborhood. So these neighborhoods may not have the greatest need in the city of Detroit, but they're the 5 neighborhoods that we think are on the upswing if more dollars were invested in those neighborhoods.
Detroit LISC says they will provide financial and technical support to develop and implement quality of life plans that create a sustainable community.
Okay, there are 5 objectives to a sustainable community, creating a sustainable community. And we're looking at creating these communities block by block. So it's the built environment, it is the affordable housing and mixed income housing opportunities. It is the commercial corridor and facade improvements and attracting businesses to the corridors. It's also increasing family wealth and income, so making sure that residents have jobs and access to federal benefits, and also are able to increase their income and decrease their debt. It's also connecting the commercial corridors to the regional economy, so that's very important, along with school, quality access to schools, and after-school programs and early childhood education programs. And the last component is really about healthy environments. So that includes your health kind of facilities right in the neighborhood, having green space, having arts and cultural kind of amenities accessible to all residents.
There are two investment strategies driving this initiative: the place-based investment, which involves the 5 neighborhoods, and the customized investment, which involves the surrounding areas.
Over the past 20 years that Detroit LISC has been in Detroit, we've invested $140 million in Detroit neighborhoods, and that leverages over $900 million from other partners that are actually at the tables for redevelopment projects. What we're doing moving forward is investing 75% of our investment in the place-based neighborhoods. So the 5 neighborhoods that I just talked about earlier. The customized investment really is about investing in areas that are bigger than the 80 to 100 blocks. They're the neighborhoods that are surrounding that 80 to 100 blocks, and it's more transactional. So it will be our loan dollars that can go into those investments. It could be a community safety initiative that's supported. It can go into investment in our Centers for Working Families model, which is really about increasing family wealth and income. So we're not just looking at the built environment of Detroit neighborhoods, but also about improving the quality of life for residents.
Detroit LISC, much like the Detroit Works project, is encouraging the community to become involved and shape the community that you want to see.
I think the community can get involved and engaged. This process is a grassroots, bottom-up approach. So as neighbors and residents are looking for visioning of their neighborhood, what they'd like to see happen, it's important that they become part of the planning process. So they need to get involved as the quality of life plans are moving forward. We're going to make sure that we have a lot of community outreach and engagement. Also, the community needs to stay engaged in the Detroit Works project as well, to make sure that their voices are heard as plans and processes and visioning for the city move forward.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Elise Ramey with My Detroit Cable. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and Twitter.